welcome to this webinar. My name's Steve Kettle. I'm a director of a company called Clover Dental Group, and I have Qasim on with me as well. So Qasim, do you want to just do an
Yeah,
introduction?
sure, sir. I'm Qasim. I'm director of a marketing agency called Unscripted Digital, and we specialize in dental marketing.
Okay, thanks. So what we're going to do is first I'm going to go through my presentation, and then Qasim will follow. And then we'll do some Q&A afterwards, which you can type in the chat. Probably be about, in total, about 40 minutes. Okay, Cesar, do you want to put my first slide on, please? Okay, can you make that? Yeah, thank you. That's okay. Can we go back to the first slide? So what we're going to talk about is the first steps to finding your property, your first squat practice. If you want to go to the next slide, Cesar. Okay. So when you're looking to find the right location for your first squat, there's certain information that we need to gather. It's quite difficult to know, as you can see from the slide, what sort of areas are, the most prominent. You're going to get good footfall. How many other dental practices are operating in that region? So first of all, you need to look at how many surgeries you're looking to start off with. A lot of practices start off with one surgery in a squat, and they fit out the potentially the other two surgeries and just wait until they've got the first one busy. Certainly retail spaces are now becoming very popular. So next to, say, a Costa Coffee, Caffè Nero, on the high street are very popular, but there are some practices that are now opening up in commercial office space. Good thing to do is check, the population of the area, have a look at what the parking's like, accessibility, also do a competitor analysis. Who else is operating within the demographic? Is it private? Is it NHS? Also, if you're going to lease a property, check the rent comparison. See what the other rents are in that area. Okay, Cesar, next slide. I would always recommend to do like I say, a competitor analysis. So this is an area in Cheshire called Cheadle, and we've got 4 practices operating here, all with different patients, all with different setups. So just look at what they're charging, how much they're paying in the rent, and who's operating in that area is always a good idea. Okay, next slide. If you're looking to take on a lease for a dental practice, a squat, always try and negotiate some rent-free periods. So potentially 6 months. This allows you some time to do the fit out and to gain approval from the CQC, which can take 4 to 6 months in the current market. Always go to a recommended property lawyer to draw up the lease for you. Check if there's a service charge. So often there's a service charge payable to the landlord, and just check what the business rates are. So you can get some cost certainty basically before you sign up to the lease. So I would always recommend to get a local architect to do some design drawings, concept drawings. You will need to get approval from the local building control and fire officer before you can proceed with the work. So once the drawings have done, you can submit them to those relevant governing bodies and make sure that they're happy with them. And then, as I say, you can then go out to tender for the works and start your building work once those have been approved. I would also get in touch with a local or a regional supplier of the equipment so they can supply the chairs, the compressor, suction pumps, cabinetry, etc. We work very closely with a company called RPA Dental, and they're an essential part of the project. So make sure that when the chairs go in and the equipment go in, that the contractor knows exactly the positioning of all the pipe work, etc. So very important to get the builder and the equipment supplier together to have a look at the project before you start. Okay, next slide, Cesar. So here's a sort of typical drawing of a squat practice. So this is a 3-surgery squat practice. You can see the 3 surgeries, but on this one, we just actually fitted the first one out, put all the services in for surgery 2 and 3. Reception area, X-ray, toilet has to be like a DDA approved toilet, decon room, staff kitchen, and then at the end we've got like the plant room. So you've got your compressor and suction motor that goes in there. So those are the plans that you would issue to building control just to make sure that they approve it. As I say, once they've signed that off, you can start with the building work. But you will need these plans when you come to doing your CQC approval, and they do, their assessment. They will need to see copies of all these plans and sign off. So it's very important to get these sorted before you start. Okay, next slide. So if you're going out to quote for the project, ensure that the contractors are familiar with doing dental fit out. So, while there's lots of builders out there, a lot of them have never done dental work, and they need to make sure that they understand the CQC regulations. So, in terms of things like air changes within the practice, making sure that everything complies with all the regulations that CQC, look at when they're assessing a practice. So very important to do that. Maybe get a couple of references as well from the contractors. Have you done this type of work before? Get in touch with some of the dentists that they've done work for to see how that went. So it's just referencing them and making sure that they've done a good job and they know what they're doing. Okay, next slide. So when you get a quote from the contractor, you really need to get like a price schedule. So it does room by room and item by item. So again, that that what they've priced for, and they're not going to look for variations during the project. It tells you, like here, you can see that how many sockets they're going to put in, how many door frames they're going to do, etc. So this is very important to get a price schedule from the contractor, which good contractors would normally be able to do for you. Okay, next slide. Now, again, dentists are very busy. They're working hard with patients and trying to project manage a build out of a squat is time consuming. So you might want to look at employing a project manager. And the role of the project manager is to produce the schedule of works, make sure that the builder's tender package is evaluated. They're all pricing on a like-for-like break basis. To produce a program of works, which I'll come on to later. The project manager does weekly meetings with the contractor on site. When the contractor puts in a valuation for an interim payment, then the project manager can check that work has been done, or at least enough work has been done to make sure that valuation isn't overstated. And then also the project manager would, at the end of the job, would do like a snagging list and make sure that everything's finished as per the schedule of works, and produce a sign-off certificate that everything is done as per the price that they've quoted. And also they would work with the dental equipment supplier to ensure that all the equipment is installed on the right days and in conjunction with the builder. So very important, because I know a lot of dentists who try and project manage it themselves and it all ends up going a bit pear-shaped. So it's good to get somebody on board who knows what they're doing. Okay, next slide. So here's like a program of work. So you can see that this one is over like a 3 month, 12 weeks, sorry, 12 weeks project. And as you can see by the yellow highlighting, each different activity on the project takes place on those particular weeks. So you know that the first fix goes in on week one, second fix, plumbing goes in, etc. And so you ask the contractor to provide you with a program of works, so you know exactly when the job's going to be finished. Recently, I've been talking to a dentist in Oldham who is still 6 months into the project, and it's only about 50% finished. The builder's gone off and started another job. He can't open up. His CQC, he's missed the date. So, it's a bit of a nightmare, really. So at least if you've got a program of works from the contractor, you know exactly how long it's going to take before you're able to open ready for business. Okay, next slide. One of the things that a lot of dentists don't know is that you can claim back capital tax allowance. So those parts of the building that are intrinsic parts of the building, like radiators, glazing, different things like that. So talk to your accountant about claiming back the capital tax allowance. It's a very important part that not a lot of dentists know about. And I can put you in touch with someone who'll do that for you. Okay, see that? Next slide. So as Clover Dental Group, this is just an example of a project that we undertook. Well, it's February 2023. It was a hairdressing salon called REM UK. You can see the first slide there. Nice, clean building next to a Waitrose store, with an optician and the beauty salon next door as well. So as you can see, there's the Waitrose. So we're the second one in. And this is some of the phases here we're going through. So sort of the rip out, new stud walls, partitions. And then the final phase here was getting the equipment in. Also, it's important to market the squat practice before you open up. So we were about 2 months before opening. We had signs in the window, and we started sort of marketing with local press, leaflet drops, going into schools, doing talks to the local schools, signage outside, because when you open up a squat practice, you've obviously got no patients, so you need to build in your book so that when you're open, you've at least got some patients to treat. Okay, next slide. I think that's it. So thanks for your time. If you've got any questions, just put them in the chat, and I'll hand you over now to Qasim.
Hello. So let me just get my slides up. Just give me 2 seconds. Just loading. Perfect. Can I just confirm that you can see the slides?
All good, yeah.
Perfect. So I'm Qasim. I'm the director of Unscripted Digital. We basically specialize in marketing for dental practices and aesthetic clinics. We have got other areas of the business as well, but obviously for this conversation, it's focusing on the dental practice marketing. So we've been working with practices from some of the bigger practices based in, say, for example, London, to squat practices who are literally just starting off, to existing practices who just trying to get into the kind of new way of marketing. Different experiences, different types of people that we've been working with, but ultimately the same goal is to get busier. And we do that through a variation of different methods, which I'll explain during this call. So just to outline what we're going to be talking about today is why is social media so important to your practice? And we'll go through different versions of kind of making you a little bit different to your competitors. We'll look at also like your tone of voice. So what is it that you're looking to perceive yourself as when it comes to your brand? And then we'll go into the world of paid ads and where do you actually start? How do you get the maximum leads and where do you want to kind of focus your spend on? And then we'll just go into any questions at the end. So the way that I describe your social pages, your TikTok, your Instagram, is it is your shop window, and depending on how you want to be seen to the world, it really depends on what type of quality content that you want to put out. So no disrespect to Poundland, but obviously you've got a difference between somebody who doesn't make an effort as much compared to somebody who's going all out. And this is just a kind of a high street example, but the same applies to your social media pages. Making good content and showcasing your work is what will get you busier. So I'm just going to show you some examples, and I just want you to kind of have a think about which, if you were to kind of have these social pages in front of you and they were your local area, which one would you be attracted to? So there's 5 examples here of typical social pages. Some of them have got kind of stock imagery, some of them have got personalized photography and videography on there. But you need to remember that the first thing that people see when they land on your page is this front end. They don't start scrolling straight away unless it comes up as a reel or comes on their feed. So if somebody was to type in your brand, what do you want them to see straight away? And what will entice them to look at the content and then ultimately follow your page? So obviously looking at these examples here, you can decide on which one would be your shop window, which you would go into. 2 of these have been developed by ourselves, number 2 and number 4, 2 separate brands, similar kind of branding with the purple, but completely 2 different areas. One's based in London, and one's based here in Yorkshire. As you can kind of see from ours, everything is real. It's real people from the practice. It's real before and afters, and there's no stock imagery. And the reason why we do that is because it makes people realize that they are dealing with people and people buy off people. So people want to get that sense of reassurance that you can actually treat them in the way that they want to be treated. So from a consumer's perspective, you need to think of a behavior of your perfect patient. And one thing that we do with a lot of our practices is that we build a kind of avatars. So we can kind of go, who do you actually want your social media pages to target? Because you can't target everybody because it'll water down your brand. So you need to kind of think about, from a brand perspective, where do you want to be seen in this market? Because it is a very competitive market now. People are getting a lot more savvy when it comes to social media. So it's all looking at how do you want your tone of voice to be? Do you want to be a bit more playful? Do you want to be very professional? And we've got different variations of clients who want to be different things. Some people specialize in orthodontics, some people specialize in implants and so forth. So we basically build your social pages around what it is that you want to be seen by the world. Obviously, we'll give advice as well and show what potentially would help you. So, for example, this one here, for example, number 4, we did a lot of work with them because they wanted to kind of showcase to a younger demographic. They wanted to get their people who weren't aware of them to see the page and relate to it, especially with a massively populated place such as London. We did some work with influencers here, and we had a lot of celebrities come through, which really helped showcase them because people kind of look at influencers in two ways. They look at the return on investment as well as so the first thing that I wanted to say is people would kind of assume that I use the influencer and I'm going to start getting loads of bookings. That it doesn't necessarily or always happen. What it does do is give people reassurance that you're good enough to treat that person. So if you're good enough to treat them, you're good enough to treat me. Also, they are very confident in front of camera. So when it comes to good content, it's better to get somebody who's happy to be filmed and confident in front of camera, opposed to somebody who is really nervous. And that doesn't necessarily have to be an influencer all the time. It can be just a general person who comes into the practice and gets treatment done. But obviously, when you're filming content, the more confident that person is, the better that content generally is over social media. So what I'm going to do is just show you 3 examples of some work that we've done, 3 different practices, 3 different tones of voices, and you'll be able to see the difference between the way that the content is produced per practice, from more of a, I guess, younger demographic to somebody who wants to be more professional, and then somewhere in the middle as well. So I'll show you these 3 examples. So this is the first one.
Hi, I'm Jessica Hayes. I am an influencer and TV personality. You might know me from Love Island in 2015. I'm here at Sensu today for my Invisalign consultation. My new smile is so important to me because I've actually just got engaged, so I'm like, one, I need a really good smile for the wedding. It's something that I've been wanting to do for so long. Sensu really stood out to me because I know they are the best at what they do. I looked at the reviews and it was all incredible, and they were just super, super friendly. Everything's been really professional, and even today I felt so welcome and so at ease. I can't even tell you how excited I am for it. I want it done now. I'm so excited. So if you're looking to get the perfect smile and start your Invisalign journey, then I would highly recommend Sensu.
So that's the first example. As you can see, it's a lot more upbeat and definitely going for that younger demographic, that Love Island audience. So I'll show you the next one, just as the next example.
Within the first 2 weeks of treatment, I felt absolutely incredible. My name is Chloe. We're here at the Leeds Dental Clinic for jaw pain and jaw clicking. Today I've had impressions taken to get a Michigan splint. It will help relieve a lot of pain. Really, really pleased with the results. I've had a massive, massive reduction in pain in such a short amount of time. The impact that it's had on my life has been absolutely incredible. Dr. April has been absolutely amazing, so friendly, and it was really reasonably priced. Being here, I feel like I'm in really safe hands. So if you are struggling with jaw pain, please do come to Leeds Dental Clinic and they'll be able to sort you out.
So you can see a clear difference between the 2 there. So I'll show you the last one.
I started with Invisalign, and then to finish it off we had composite bonding. Looking back now, I wish I'd have got it done a lot sooner.
The smile that I was so conscious about before just made it so worthwhile, and the best decision that I probably made.
The results have been fantastic. It's definitely been worth it.
Just get yourself down to Ropegate Dental Care and speak to the team, and you'll definitely get looked after.
So this client at the end, we've been working with them for quite some time, so we were able to...
In the first 2 weeks of treatment, I felt absolutely...
Sorry, it's kind of just playing the videos. So yeah, we were able to collate a lot of different content from the different shoots to kind of combine it into one. One thing that we always do when it comes to content creation is that we always build it as if it's going to be an advert which is going to get paid and run over social media ads campaigns. So that nicely gets us onto the kind of next part of the session, which is paid campaigns. So kind of looking just at the content that we just shot then, everything that we produce, we work with every practice so that we can look at what types of offers they're looking to run, where do they want to focus on. And then once we realize that the content is organically doing well, we will then start using paid ad campaigns to boost that to get more attraction. And that would just be through, say if it's Instagram, it would be boosting because that will generate a lot more brand awareness, or we'll do a lead generation campaign. Also with the content as well, when we build bespoke landing pages per campaign, we then take that content and put it on the landing pages as well, because it reiterates the message. And if it's a different video that they might have seen for the advert, we will show a different video on the landing page, so they have more confirmation around patient journeys. A lot of people ask us normally is like, where do we start when it comes to paid ads? And there's differences between social ads and lead generation. I always do recommend Google is probably the best place to start when it comes to lead generation, just because the intent is already there. People are searching for a service, so they already kind of know what they're looking for, but they're just needing somewhere to go. And Google Ads is where we normally generate our first and fastest leads because of that kind of hot intention. With Google, I mean, it really works well for all types of treatment, from Invisalign to dental implants. We've got clients who do general dentistry, emergency dentists, to specialist treatments such as thumb grafting. So it really just depends on your niche and what it is that you want to focus on. The one thing with Google, it is getting a lot more competitive depending on where you are. So there's a lot more people who are becoming a lot more aware of Google. So people are spending money into that, but it is not a bad thing, because obviously when you get good quality leads off the back of the Google Leads campaign, then you can obviously convert them. We do recommend obviously just having a good CRM in place as well, so you can then manage the leads as soon as they come through, because generally a lead, when somebody's searching for it, they won't just search for yours and put a lead generation filler form through your own website. They'll probably go to one or two other people as well. So it's normally the first person who gets to them normally kind of wins that conversion. So having a good system and process in place to make sure that the lead that comes through from Google or any other platform is dealt with in a correct and speedily manner. With other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you have the lead generation as well. So you use good content to do lead generation off the back of that. Alternatively, you can do brand awareness. When we try to build somebody's social page, I normally say that when you're building a social page, you don't expect to just start getting leads off the back of that straight away. The thing with social is it's more about a long-term prospect. It's a long-term gain. When you look at these pages who have got thousands of followers, the Rue Dentals out there, Dental Excellence, for example, Kiss Dental, it's taken them years to get to that point. It's not something that just happened overnight, because they understand the importance of building a long-term strategy when it comes to building that social content, because somebody might not be ready for a treatment straight away. They might just be curious. They might just want to follow you because one day they might get their treatment done. But the person who is always in their mind, because the content's always there, is normally the person who they'll contact when it comes to getting that treatment whenever they're ready. And that's normally how it works with social media. It needs to kind of be in their mindset that they're seeing that content from that same brand over and over again, for it to kind of put into their mind that that's the brand that they want to go for treatment with. And that's just generally marketing in general. You wouldn't just advertise an Apple iPhone once and just hope for the best. The reason why it's so big is because of the advertising, the marketing, and the kind of campaigns that they put in. And one thing as well is that what we always do is that we test a lot. So if something isn't working, we work with the practices to see if the quality of leads is good quality. Are they getting leads? What's the quality like? How frequently are you getting them? And is the cost per acquisition high or low? So typically this is a 4-month scenario when working with us. The first month is all around discovery. So we'll look at yourselves, your competitors. We'll get everything set up from a Google perspective or a Facebook perspective and look at if we're building landing pages. and then we'll arrange a first shoot. So normally what we do typically is that we come into practice once a month. The account manager will manage everything prior to that. So you'll know exactly what's going to happen on that day, who's going to be filmed, what are we filming, and have we got patient confirmation to say that they're happy to be filmed, as well as the staff as well. So it's important that you get contracts in place to staff and people so that they can actually give permission, because the worst thing you want to do is obviously somebody were to leave the business or somebody was to not be happy that the content goes and is used for adverts. So it's really important that you get that permission. Month 2, then kind of things normally go live. That can be done sooner depending on how fast we get the information back from the practices, like branding and so forth. But ads can go live. From the shoot that normally happens, obviously contents get edited and then we start posting onto social media pages. So a lot of our clients kind of have us do Google ads and ad campaigns as well as content creation. So this is typically just both. Then obviously every single month that we come in, we do a lot of A/B testing just to see what adverts are working, which campaigns are working, landing pages are working as well. So we're always making iterations to kind of improve the lead generation that comes off the back of it and the content that happens as well. We're not miracle workers, and I kind of want to just make sure that people are aware of this. And anybody who tells you that they can get you 15,000 leads within the first month or 2 is normally lying. This takes a process. It takes time to make sure that your cost per lead is at a good price, because they'll always be high to start off with. Normally, they can be around about 20-30% high at month 1 and 2, because Google or Facebook is trying to work out the consistency of your adverts and your frequency as well. So it rewards people who do longevity. So eventually your lead price will come down afterwards. And then we keep doing that every single month, basically. We normally use WhatsApp as well, just to kind of keep communications. And then we normally have catch-ups with our clients, either weekly or fortnightly, just depending on how much engagement they want with us. And that's it from myself. So any questions?
Okay, so anybody got any questions before we finish? If you could type them into the chat. No, don't think so.